What is going on, y'all? We are live on YouTube and Facebook. We are live on Instagram. We got the three of us here. And what's up? And we are going to talk about mindset and how to manifest the right mindset and just manifest things that you want in general in life. So I was on a podcast, 2 days ago, Monday. We were diving into this gentleman I was talking with. He's in Australia. He's building out this awesome retreat, and we were talking about how mindset can have a massive impact on our actual outcome, and that there's a difference in truth and reality, if that makes sense. So let me explain. Let me elaborate. So he smells funky. He smells like a cereal.
Cereal?
You gonna eat cereal?
I promise you he has not. Did he?
I don't think so. Anyways, here, you take it for a second, see if you can smell it. Let me get this thought across. So, mindset, manifestation, and the difference between truth and reality. So, our perception is our reality. Whatever you think is your truth. However, that may not be actual fact. So, our reality is our own truth. I don't know how I can explain this. We explained it very well on the podcast, but like, you may have things in your life that are not black and white, and therefore not a correct or incorrect, right or wrong, black and white answer. It may not be factual, but if it is in your mind, if that is what you think to be true, if that is what your reality exists as, then that is your reality. Your perception is your reality. I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they was talking about how, like, before you go and do a public speaking event, and you get like the nerves, you get the jitters, you get this anxiety, this excitement coursing through your veins. Those physiological biofeedback factors, like the calm or the clammy hands, the heightened heart rate, the higher blood pressure, those bodily responses are the same whether you feel to be anxious or excited. But if you approach that situation with excitement instead of angst, you're most certainly going to perform better. So you have the ability, that choice as to how you want to perceive that event. Wowzers. You have the choice as to how you want to perceive that event. And because of that, you can really form and shape and manifest your own reality. And that's not going to just be in your head. That's going to be what you breathe into existence in the world, in your own life. You're a noisy one today. So yeah, I'm all about mindset. I'm all about having the right mentality. There's times in our lives, right now being one of them, where it's not always easy to have a positive outlook. It's not always easy to take the high road and, have a positive outlook. I mean, there are times where I get down. There are times where Crystal gets down. There are times where we're like, what in the hell are we doing right now? And this is one of those times. However, the reality could be bleak, or it could be an opportunity to create more growth. I was talking to Crystal last night, and it's like, look, this is all just climactic, This is all just climactic. You can have a life in which you've got multiple chapters. Every chapter of your life can be an exciting chapter for someone to read, or it could be this boring chapter. Right now, our book of life is pretty climactic. It's not anticlimactic at all. And with those highs and lows,
it can't get worse, it gets worse.
Yeah. When you think it can't get worse, it gets worse. And in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? What's happening? Woe is me, victim mentality. I don't subscribe to that at all. Like, it's all happening for a reason. It's all making me stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This is all just opportunity for growth. And that's exactly what's going on in our life right now. And I'm sure many of y'all can experience that and have experienced that. It's really just how you perceive things, y'all. Like, there are so many opportunities in life where you can take it and you can run with it, or you can take it and let it run you down and beat you. And there's no such thing as failure. So keep getting up and keep fighting the fight. And like, business is literally a fight after a fight. There's no like finish line to the fight in the business world. And I'm speaking on business because that's what I'm familiar with. But the same holds true with relationships and everything in life.
I have words.
All right, what you got?
You want to hold them?
Sure.
The other one has to hold it while you speak. All right. So, my thoughts. I have been knocked down about a gazillion times because I talk and promote and do myself a lot of positive talk, a lot of this is going to get better, a lot of, it is what it is, a lot of whatever, just a lot of positive. I try to do a lot of positive talk within myself and out into the world because that's what works for me. I've lived that life that I felt woe is me. I lived that life where I let myself get so upset that I was super depressed. I just don't want to go down that road anymore. So I really try to turn things around. And there's times, like, was it the day before yesterday, where I drove to the warehouse and Robert's like, "You've been crying, haven't you?" And I was like, "Yep." And you gotta let it out. It doesn't mean that you have to be positive all the time, but it's like, let it out, then pick yourself up and keep going, because life doesn't stop because you're having a meltdown or you feel sorry for yourself. Life keeps going and people keep doing things, and you can either stop in your tracks and let it paralyze you, or you can pick up and keep going. So I just had to say my 2 cents there, that I think there is a lot to having those positive thoughts and having a good outlook. Okay, that's enough. We don't need to do this on camera here. Having a positive outlook on things, and you're distracting me so much. I think there is something to having a positive outlook on things. I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm what?
Toxically positive. Toxic positivity.
Yeah, that. I have had a lot of people on social media tell me that, and that's fine. They do not know me as an individual. They're not spending every single day with me, but I am pretty much like that. Like, even ask Robert. Like, there's times where I am freaking down. But then there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know what? That's all we can do. What can we do? Maybe it's going to get better. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I do try to choose the high road. I do try to pick myself up and be the one that has a good outlook on things, or you're just stuck in this analysis paralysis. And that is me. That's who I am. That's how I process things. Like, when things are hard, I need time to just chill. I need time to, like, sit back and watch a movie and, like, get my brain off of it. Robert works harder. So if I allow myself to be the person that sits back and watches a movie and does nothing over and over and over again, I'm never going to get out of it. Now, I don't think that there's something wrong with choosing to have a moment where you're like, I really need to take a step back. But you can't choose to do that over and over and over again. You have to have that mindset of, I'm going to allow myself to relax a little bit so that I can get the heck out of this spot and look forward to what can be better.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Done.
All right. I do have a question for y'all on the live. Feel free to jump in the comments on this. This is not something that I've fleshed out in any extent, but just kind of off the cuff here. Would y'all find benefit in a group coaching atmosphere as it relates to the ketogenic diet, nutrition, bodybuilding, fitness, exercise, et cetera, et cetera? Basically, group coaching. Would that be something that y'all would find benefit in? We do a live every Wednesday, so like I like talking with y'all, so I was just kind of curious if y'all like that idea or if not. Have no idea what I would do with that. I've got some wheels started in my head.
Someone said he's imitating you, Robert.
Yeah.
LOL, so cute.
Hello from Idaho. Triple G, Maine in the house. Make that 2 from Idaho. What's up, Jesse? Hi, y'all. Great words. What's up, Joe?
Corey says, Rigel like a talking stick. Love y'all. What does that mean?
Whoever has Roger talks. Except the
Oh,
opposite.
the talking stick. That's hilarious.
Yes, life is lived from the inside. If you can stay positive on the inside, it will affect your outside world. Great message, guys. 100%.
Good idea. Yes. Can you do a pregnancy keto program? Here's the thing about pregnancy. It's real tricky. I don't think that, excuse me, I don't think that there's a perfect program for people who are pregnant. I don't think that there's a perfect workout for people who are pregnant. I don't think there's a perfect diet for people who are pregnant. I chose not to ever do a pregnancy workout program or nutrition program or any type of program simply because I think that those things need to be individualized. And if you want help on that area, you need to work one-on-one with a coach. There are some things that are like really helpful, like for stretches and things like that. That's pretty well versed for everyone. But that is probably something that we will never build out, only because I do think it needs to be more of a one-on-one program type thing. I got my keto board baby coming up. First trimester has been hard. Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time during their first trimester. A lot of people feel like they need to have carbs. I did get a little bit of morning sickness, but I don't really, I don't know. But I don't feel like it was so hard that I had to, have carbs. But I did have specific things that I've suggested to other people that they have used and found it really beneficial. One being, a lot of people have meat aversions in the first trimester. I also did have that. And the best way I got it in was by actually eating chili, which is funny because I absolutely love that chili. But I ate chili because all of it is meat, and it's on the Keto Savage website if you guys are interested in that. And I also ate a lot of truffles because it was something a little bit sweet. I poured keto brick on top, but it also has a bread texture. So I would have like a truffle like almost every single morning. It was so good.
Jolene says yes. Joe says, how does group coaching work? Michael says, I think it would draw people into the lifestyle, which is positive, give some of us a way to expose others in a group format. Yeah, so this is like totally me shooting off the cuff. I haven't really crunched ideas on it yet, but just off the cuff, I would think it would entail something like I would break the month. I would break the month up into, a specific event or goal or challenge each week. So each week would have its own like execution format, and then like first week might be goal building, second week might be like drawing in some more clarity as to what those goals would entail and how to reach those goals. The third week may be like us all executing on those goals, and the fourth week could be a review of what worked and what didn't work in that execution towards those goals and what could be improved upon the next time. Not really sure. I don't think I would be able to scale like calculating people's individual macros with a group coaching format because that would just be too unwieldy. That's why I do one-on-one coaching. But I think there's a lot that could be done in a group style format that would be advantageous to a lot of people.
What you are putting out back into the universe does come back. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yes. What you're putting out in the universe comes back.
Love your little one. Yeah,
well, I'm glad to hear that because I actually just asked Ellen, our administrative assistant, today. I was like, do you think that we need to find this to someone to like watch him while we do our live?
Because he's a handful in the live.
He is. He's really not too crazy most of the time. But I think it's because like, and last week. But I think it's because like I'm not usually just like holding him, but he wants to be like either on the floor playing with me.
You want to put him on the rug? Definitely group coaching, good and more approachable cost-wise. Yeah, it would definitely be a lower price point for sure. I injured my bicep tendon, so I can't do a lot of stuff at the gym. How do you handle injuries mentally, and what can I do to ensure I don't lose too much progress? So the best thing you do is just do something to stimulate the muscle tissue, even if it's a much lighter weight than you're typically doing, even if it's a shorter range of motion than you're typically doing. I think there's a lot of benefit in doing like BFR training, so blood flow restriction training. Occlusion training is oftentimes what's referred to as well. But you can do that. You could do like blood flow restriction training on your arm, like put the it's not a tourniquet, but it's kind of like a tourniquet above up above your bicep, and then very light work of your tricep and bicep is going to still force a lot of blood into the muscle, and that engorgement of the muscle can also help stimulate the muscle and alleviate or minimize the muscle loss while you can't train it hard.
Jonathan said, "What's good, homies?" And then he says, "Butter versus olive oil." Both.
That's a good question, Jay
I said
Shane.
both.
If I had to pick one,
Olive oil.
I'd probably pick olive oil. Yeah. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick olive oil. Olive oil with heavy cream. Not at the same time, but have both of them in my diet. Boom. Solve that problem. By the way, Jay Shane, I got your goods. I don't know if we're open about that yet, so I'm not going to say anything. You can't answer both. But I got your goods. I'm going to test those out. I might test it out tomorrow morning at the gym. So I will give that a shot. I'll give you my honest feedback. The cans, I'm saying too much. The packaging looks great, though, bro. I'm excited for the packaging for sure. I'm excited to give it a shot. So I'll keep you posted on that. Luke, thank you. You bet, Luke. Let me know how it goes. The BFR training is pretty cool. Definitely give it a shot. Let me know what you think. I'll sometimes do it, and like the pump that you get with BFR training is like out of this world. You can do a very light weight and get a great pump. So a lot of people that are injured will do it, which would be a perfect use case scenario for you. So yeah, I'd give that a shot. Woohoo, let me know. Thanks, man. You betcha, brother. You betcha. All right, here we go. Jesse says, Rigel's awesome, totally normal. He seems very intrigued and interested in what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be running keto brick in 15 years, and you guys can retire. You hear that, Rigel? As he chews on a power cord. He's not chewing on a power cord. But yeah, he's the best. I love him to death. All right, we got any other questions in the building? We're 17 minutes in. So hit us with some questions, y'all. It's open table right now. So throw anything our way. Do we have a list of questions for the next one?
You have to throw on my phone.
We do? Okay, so we have topics for next time, but ask us questions for right now because we're here and ready and willing to talk.
Ready and willing.
It's like super hot in here.
Any
running goals this year? No, Jay Shane.
The running goal is to not do it.
The running goal is to... I don't have any running goals. I do want to run. I mean, I feel very confident in my ability to just pick up and run 5 miles right now without any issues whatsoever. Like I could run 5 miles right now at a drop of a hat without any issues. So I feel good about that. I'm not running ultra marathons like you. There's a really pretty trail not far from the compound here that's around the lake. So I wouldn't mind going for a run around that. I think it's like a 4.5 mile loop. Pretty technical, pretty steep grade, lots of rocks. But I would like to run that on a somewhat regular basis. Are you still doing
I've actually been wanting to do some running lately.
Crystal's been wanting to do some running lately. Are you still doing full body workouts? Yes, still doing full body workouts and still loving the full body workouts. Jolene says, I'm 55, having trouble losing fat. Should fat still be higher than protein in my macros, or should I focus more on protein being I'm going through menopause? All right, so that's a loaded question, Jolene. It all depends. Don't you hate it when people answer it with "it all depends"? So I would need a lot more context on your question than to give you an answer to that. If you're consuming 3,000 calories and that's your actual maintenance intake, which not saying it is, but if it were, then you could be consuming more fat than protein and still likely be consuming ample protein. If you're consuming 1,200 calories, and your fat is higher than your protein, then you're probably not consuming enough protein. So your total caloric intake is going to impact my answer as to which should be higher. But on a high level view, you are right in thinking that you should make sure that you're eating enough protein, especially being 55 and going through menopause. But you got to make sure you're consuming enough fat too. Yes. Rigel concurs. Oh, Jonathan says, I need to come run with you and then do a killer squat workout. I'll bring the crutches. Yeah, man, bring the crutches. We've been doing, our workouts have been kind of all over the place lately because like the past 2 weeks, my training has been off because I've just been so busy. I've been training every day, but I've been so busy that I have not been able to train for the full training session. I'm just kind of getting things in where possible. So yeah, I'd be all about that. Okay, I'm around 1,900 calories a day. That helps a lot, but I need to know more stuff like how much of your weight is lean mass versus fat mass. How long have you been 1,900? How long have you been keto? A good rule of thumb with protein, like a very simple, high level, good rule of thumb is a gram of protein per pound of lean mass. So if you have 140 pounds of lean mass on you and you're consuming 140 grams of protein, then you're probably fine. Now, you can titrate that up a little bit to see if your body responds favorably, but I probably wouldn't consume any less than your weight in lean pounds. I wouldn't consume any less protein in grams than your weight in lean mass, especially as you are 55 and going through menopause. Rigel, Haley is just staring at the phone, wondering what the noise is. Yeah. Yeah, that's Crystal. That's Crystal.
Excuse me.
Thank you. That helps. You bet, Jolene. Let me know how that goes. What was that?
Your glasses.
Your glasses. All right. We got any other questions, y'all? Anything else on top of mind for y'all? Any questions, Lumen? Lumen. Today's Wednesday, right?
Live at 5 on Wednesday.
Live at 5 on Wednesday. Wednesdays are our busy, crazy days. One of our busy, crazy days. If reconsidering adding some carbs to add weight and lower LDL, what would you test first? If considering adding some carbs to add weight and lower LDL, what would you test first?
What would you test first?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't start, like, I don't know what all you've manipulated, but if you're just simply trying to reduce LDL, I'd probably try a few other things before introducing carbs. Like simply switching a lot of your saturated fats to monounsaturated fats. That would likely result in a net lowering of your LDL cholesterol. You don't have to switch everything over, but if you dropped a good percentage of your saturated fats and switch those over to monounsaturated fats, keeping calories constant, that would probably result in a net decrease in LDL.
He's so hyper right now.
He is super
I don't know
hyper.
what happened.
Meal timing as it relates to sleep. All right, there's a good question. So I honestly think the best time to eat before sleep is probably within about, if you eat and then wait about 3 hours before you go to sleep, that should be totally sufficient. When I'm in a deep deficit and my body fat is very low, I find it harder to fall asleep. So I'll sometimes eat right before bed in that situation. But generally speaking, for the vast majority of the people that want to optimize their sleep and they're consuming ample calories, I would say try and get that last meal in about 3 hours before you go to sleep. In that last meal, try to ensure that it is not significantly higher in protein than anything else. Like if you eat a bunch of shrimp and chicken breasts and not hardly any fat your last meal, you'll likely not sleep as good as if you have a pretty good bolus of fat in your last meal. I honestly try and fat load a little bit as my last meal so that I sleep better. That makes a pretty tangible difference for me. So that's one thing that I would recommend.
Robert.
What?
Robert's pretending he can't hear me.
You lost my spot here. Olive oil for the win. LDL down. Yes. You say dada? You say dada? You say dada? What's up, Robert, Crystal, and Rigel? What's up, Sean? How you doing, man? Hope life is well for you, brother. And you are doing good. Let's definitely regroup, man. I miss you. All right. Over this little guy.
Yeah. Whew. All right. right.
Are you
Now
guys
that there's nothing on here. I have
There's no
nothing to
water.
add. Yeah. What else, guys? What else have we got? Any other questions? Do we have questions for them? We asked them about the group coaching.
I don't think we have any questions. We do have some news with the keto break. Something happening this weekend.
What's happening with your hair? That's what I want to know.
So what's happening this weekend? So keep an eye out there. Yeah, keep an eye out there. What else? Anything else? Rigel, stop talking now that there's no question.
I know. It's because he's talking.
Yeah.
What color will the hoodies be?
All right. What
We're
color?
not talking about it.
We'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about the hoodies next week.
Robert always wants to give all the information away, and I'm just like, if you're gonna keep it a secret, then keep it a secret. If you're gonna talk about it, then talk about it. Crystal, have you had any postpartum depression? That's a great question. Actually, not many people have asked me that. I did not have any postpartum depression yet thus far. Rigel is almost 8 months old. I did not. I do think that maybe I had a little bit of, I had some struggles with the birth. And I don't want to say, what's the word? Trauma. I don't love the word trauma because I feel like a lot of people go through a lot worse than what I did. But I do feel like it was a little traumatic and a little bit hard for me to process. But I wouldn't say that I got depressed at all or really had any postpartum depression. I honestly think that has a lot to do with the fact that I did stay pretty active, and being active really helps a lot with those feel-good hormones and all of that kind of stuff. So that I ate really clean. We didn't have anyone bringing food to our house because everyone kind of knows that we're pretty picky. So I meal prepped all the food that I wanted to be able to eat. So I wasn't getting like fast food and just things that were like picked up for me. So I stayed pretty nutrient dense. And I also, when I was feeling alone or like lonely, like at the house by myself with Rigel, because Robert went back to work, I just came to the warehouse and spent time with the people here. And I feel like those things all together was really helpful for me. I think that there's a lot deeper reasons why people do have postpartum depression, and there's some things that are not, can't be kept level by nutrition, fitness, and being around people. But for me, I feel like that is what helped me a lot. And then I did actually see a counselor post having Rigel. I feel like a lot of things came up during that time that I was not anticipating at all. And then also just to talk about the birth and things like that. So I would definitely recommend those 4 things, I guess.
Hi, superstars. Love your meat grinder. Would love any advice about how to choose one. Get one bigger than what you think you need. That would be the advice that I would give. I think ours is a 3/4 horse grinder, and it's been pretty good. I would not get anything less than a 3/4 horse.
If you were to test any carbs, i.e. vegetables, what would you try first, trying to also build muscle?
Any of your dark leafy greens would be good. Lettuce is all going to be good. If you don't have any oxalate issues, then you can incorporate some more of those. They're not really going to be muscle building per se. So I wouldn't really look to vegetables to enhance your muscle building potential.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But like, if you're trying to incorporate carbs, then like I would use a whole food, like probably some sort of like sweet potato or something like that. But yeah, I know. But usually, we're lagging over there.
I just stopped moving.
I don't know what's happening, if they can hear us or not. Can you guys hear us on Facebook and YouTube
It's
still?
because my power is about to go out.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
I don't know why it does that.
hopefully they can hear us still. Sorry, everyone on Instagram. Hold, please.
Fix it.
Yes, good audio. Okay. Yep, we can hear.
All
Okay,
right.
cool. So yeah, but like as far as vegetables go, we don't really eat a whole ton, but when we do, it's like cabbage or Brussels sprouts. Pretty much those two.
Yeah. Asparagus sometimes.
Yeah.
I would say the micronutrients in veg can help with muscle building and recovery. Some have great folic acid and B vitamins in my experience. Yeah, I mean, some
you can
people
also get
tolerate.
them from meat too, though.
Yeah, some people tolerate vegetables well. Some people not so much.
Yes.
Not
saying to not have veggies, but
yeah.
I wouldn't look to veggies to like build all the lean mass that you can.
Yeah. All right.
How are you liking the homemade yogurt? How long does it take to make? Okay, so it's awesome. I'm still making it a work in progress. I have not gotten it perfect yet. So when I perfect it, we're going to make a keto savage kitchen out of it. I don't really want to share before then because it's kind of crap. Like it's not. It tastes really good. It's just not perfect. So I do love it, and it's hard to say because like the actual act of doing stuff probably takes 10 minutes, but it has to like remain in the heat and then be strained and all of that, and that takes time. So it's a lot of time, but you're not really doing anything.
The first one tasted like mozzarella cheese, and the second one tasted like what?
It was a little bit snotty.
Snotty yogurt. All right, y'all. We are 32 minutes in, so we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna wrap up the live at 5. But we love y'all so very much. We appreciate y'all more than you know, and we appreciate y'all putting up with all of Rigel's communication and craziness. He loves y'all too, and he wanted to jump
Rigel
on.
is so awesome. He's going to be a great big brother.
Oh, she's calling it. She's calling it. All right, y'all. Much love. Take care. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now. Hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la